In the decades after the American Civil War, the United States entered a period of explosive growth. Railroads stretched across the continent, factories multiplied, and cities swelled with new workers. This era, later called the Gilded Age, created unprecedented wealth, but it also gave rise to a powerful group of industrialists known as the robber barons. To some, they were builders of modern America. To others, they were ruthless men who gained fortunes through exploitation, corruption, and control. The term robber baron was borrowed from medieval Europe, where nobles extorted tolls from travelers. In America, it came to describe businessmen who used unfair practices to dominate industries. Men like John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, Cornelius Vanderbilt, and J.P. Morgan became symbols of this new economic order. Their companies controlled oil, steel, railroads, and finance industries, essential to national growth. Industrialization made their rise possible. New technologies allowed production on a massive scale, while railroads connected distant markets. Those who controlled transportation and resources held immense power. Vanderbilt built his fortune by dominating shipping and rail lines, deciding which routes thrived and which failed. Control of infrastructure meant control of opportunity. Rockefeller perfected the monopoly. Through Standard Oil, he used secret railroad rebates, predatory pricing, and strategic buyouts to eliminate competition. By the 1880s, Standard Oil controlled nearly all oil refining in the United States. Prices were dictated by corporate strategy rather than open markets. To supporters, Rockefeller brought efficiency and stability. To critics, he destroyed fair competition. Andrew Carnegie built a steel empire using vertical integration, controlling everything from raw materials to transportation and manufacturing. His mills produced steel cheaply and efficiently, fueling bridges, skyscrapers, and railroads. Yet Carnegie's success relied on harsh labor practices. Workers endured long hours, low pay, and dangerous conditions. When they protested, violence followed. Most famously during the Homestead Strike of 1892. The robber barons did not operate in isolation. They worked closely with banks and government officials. J.P. Morgan, the era's most powerful financier, reorganized failing industries and stabilized markets, but also concentrated enormous financial power in private hands. During economic crises, Morgan's influence rivaled that of the federal government itself. Wealth inequality reached staggering levels. While industrialists lived in lavish mansions, millions of workers crowded into tenements. Child labor was widespread. Safety regulations were minimal. The promise of the American dream felt distant for those trapped in industrial poverty. Public anger grew. Farmers protested railroad pricing, workers formed unions. Journalists known as muckrakers exposed corruption, monopolies, and unsafe conditions. Writers like Ida Tarbell revealed the inner workings of Standard Oil. Turning public opinion against the robber barons, political pressure forced change. The Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890 aimed to limit monopolies, though enforcement was initially weak. During the Progressive Era, reformers pushed for stronger regulation, labor protections, and corporate accountability. Presidents like Theodore Roosevelt used antitrust laws to challenge powerful trusts, signaling that even the richest men were not above the law. Yet the legacy of the robber barons remains complicated. Their businesses helped transform America into a global industrial power. Railroads unified the nation. Steel built its cities. Oil fueled its economy. At the same time, their methods exposed the dangers of unchecked capitalism. Some robber barons later embraced philanthropy. Carnegie funded libraries and universities. Rockefeller supported medical research and education. Critics argue these gifts could not undo the harm caused by exploitation and monopoly. Supporters claim their wealth ultimately benefited society. The rise of the robber barons reveals a central tension in American history, the balance between innovation and fairness, wealth and justice. They shaped modern capitalism, for better and worse. Their story is not simply one of greed or genius, it is a warning about what happens when power concentrates without restraint. Understanding the robber barons is essential to understanding America itself. Their rise defined the Gilded Age, challenged democracy, and sparked reforms that still shape the nation today.